Thank you. Most of my questions have been answered now, but I did just want to ask you around vote 26, the school transport. When did you say the review would be completed? 69 million is in the supplementary estimates for the additional places in 2022. You see, what's difficult, Minister, is that there are still families that are left behind, and I'll just give you an instance of a family in Charlestown where there's 2 children, James and Clodagh, and James is registered blind. Both children have always taken the bus to school until this year, and they still don't have a seat on the bus. And James and Clodagh's parents have gone through the school to try and get transport for James, but they're still waiting for that. And even if they are awarded transport, Clodagh wouldn't be able to go to school with him. And the reason I give you that example is that it was really good that we were able to do free transport, but the way it was rolled out was terrible. And then when we have situations like this, where children like James and Clodagh cannot get on the bus, it makes things obviously very, very difficult for the parents. So I'm asking you, I suppose, when is the review going to be done, and where there are still cases of people who rightly deserve transport, what can we do to alleviate that?
I just want to be clear, and I absolutely, in terms of the case that you raise, I want to be very clear, any child or young person with special education need does have an entitlement, so a child is visually impaired or whatever, does have an entitlement there. So I'll have to look at now, notwithstanding, and I want to say this very honestly, that in some areas there have been difficulties in terms of recruiting, whether it's additional buses or whether it's additional drivers or whatever, there's just no two ways about it. That's notwithstanding the absolute entitlement of a child with an additional need to a place on the bus. And in fact, in terms of children and young people with additional needs, they can actually apply at any time across the year for school transport, such is the determination of the department to ensure that they are catered for. I will specifically look at the case that you raised there. It may well be an issue, as I say, around the availability of the transport or the availability of the bus driver. In the interim, there is a grant that is available to the family in that respect. But look, I'm happy to take the detail and to look at it.
Okay.
Oh, and sorry, in relation to the review.
I know you will agree that it's not, that situations like that aren't acceptable.
Yeah.
And then do we understand from the figures that fees will be reintroduced next year for the applications that are open in the springtime? Because I really would urge you to make it permanent, and you know why, both in terms of the economic costs for parents, but also in terms of climate change and reducing emissions. I think that obviously school transport in so many ways makes that, free school transport makes sense. And as well, and I just want to flag this up to you, Minister, where many people are attending their local school, but it isn't their closest school. You see, when we're in rural Ireland and we don't have the choice of subjects. So even take physics, for example. We want to encourage more students to take up physics. But if it's not at their nearest school, but it is at a school that's further away from them, I really think that we should be incentivising that by enabling school transport. So I'd ask you in the review to make things as flexible as possible. People aren't going to exploit the situation, but it really all feeds into even our workforce planning in terms of the education that we're enabling, our educational pathways that we're enabling our students to follow. School transport is such an integral part of that.
No, and I do accept that, Deputy. And for example, in terms of the nearest school, you will appreciate that this year I did, and indeed last year I did, introduce a temporary alleviation measure, which means that students are now eligible, should they meet the criteria, that they would be, it need not necessarily be their nearest school, it can be their next nearest school to facilitate. There is an element of choice there then, so the nearest or the next nearest school. Just in terms of the review, it is looking at all aspects around distance, eligibility, all that criteria is being looked at. It is an extraordinary and enormous body of work, because there has been just phenomenal engagement in terms of the body of work not just from parents and from students themselves and those who are using school transport, but indeed, probably even more importantly, those who don't have access to it. Also, the providers have also engaged in the consultation process. We're trying to complete that as soon as we possibly can. I will say, given the increased demands that have been placed on school transport in terms of children coming from other countries, particularly the huge number of children that we have coming from Ukraine. And that is a significant number of children that we have coming from Ukraine and are being catered for. And as I say, the review itself and indeed the waiving of the fees. So there's a body of work that remains to be completed, but it's very, very close to completion, and it will be expedited as quickly as we possibly can. But I do hear the points that you raised. They're very much part of feeding into the review, and it is indeed, for many of the reasons that you've listed, the entire catalyst for the review in the first place. I know the value of it myself. I come from a rural constituency. I know the value in terms of, as you say, work, parents making their plans as the availability of their children to get to school or how they can manage that. So I understand the importance of to the best of our ability, getting it right. But I also know that there will be a very strong money message with it, and you've referenced, the costs. So, that would be for another debate.
As part of the review, is there included an evaluation of the policy decision to stop free school transport? All the changes that were made, the policy changes that were made after Mary Coughlin's review, I think it was in 2009, 2010. So, was there an evaluation done on it, and is that available? On how much did we save by introducing charges and making concessionary students and eligible students and all that within the department?
I'll have to revert to you on that. If
Would
it's
you?
there within the department, I'll revert to you on it. The whole impetus really for the current review of the school transport system is to ensure that as much as possible, and you've referenced it from a whole climate point of view, the advantage of the maximum number of children and young people availing of the bus ensures that there's less people transporting children to school. So from a climate point of view, from an accommodation point of view for families, from an accessibility point of view, in terms of broadening opportunities in terms of education for children. So there's a wide variety of reasons for doing this review, but also for doing it, I suppose, and getting it right to ensure that we can get the maximum number of children availing of it. So, but in terms of the specific question you ask, if it's there, I'll revert to you on it.
Yeah, I hope it is. Thanks. I leave my questions at that, Chair.
Okay.